a certain percentage funded by the government, and like the news can be easily swayed if it's being funded by the government.
Okay, that's a really good point. So state-funded media has a chance for it to be biased towards the people who are giving them money, which is the state, which refers to the government, right? And I want to say that example has held true throughout history. When a government takes control of its media, the narrative it puts out is one that is in support of the government. Typically, dictatorships use this, tyrannical governments, authoritarian governments, like governments that are forcing control onto their people. And when there's lack of freedom of press, then that means that the access to information becomes more and more challenging, which may create more dilemmas in terms of fake news. How else do you determine if this news is fake? Let's say your friend comes up to you and they have the hottest tea in the school. How do you know if they're actually telling you the truth or if they're lying? Okay. How do you determine, like, oh, this person's about to give me some gossip? Okay. What? Okay, so there's no gossip in the school. That's wonderful. What other type of tea? What are you, British?
Yes, and Irish.
You kind of look like it. You kind of. There's an internal civil conflict all the time. Anyone else? Come on. How do you determine something fake and real? Like what metric do you use?
Sounding how bizarre it sounds.
Okay, if it sounds outrageous, you go, I don't know if I believe this. This is really outrageous. That's reasonable. Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna take that. We're gonna move on.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Does anyone remember information pollution? It may or may not be something we looked at in journalism and lobbying. The quiz for which we'll have tomorrow. Okay, short quiz. It's like 5 questions. Oh man, we were supposed to do something. What is information pollution? What's pollution? Waste. Waste is a good word. Pollution is waste. Okay. Information pollution then becomes information waste, junk information, just too much, right? It's too much. And information pollution makes it more difficult to focus on what is real, what is important. Okay. Think about it. There's like 10 things distracting you. It's hard to do whatever your task is, right? So imagine like you're writing a test and there's a dodgeball game going on in the middle of the classroom. Are you gonna be able to focus on your test?
Yep.
I'd be joining.
No.
I'd be joining that dodgeball game.
With too much information, you're gonna have challenges figuring out what's real, what's fake, and more importantly, what actually works, right? Like, what is the difference between like something that sounds good on paper and something that actually works in real life, right? There's a dramatic difference between those two. Okay, history has many examples of those.
I hate
I wouldn't know. I should have taken half of it. Okay. And again, you may already have these definitions written down somewhere, but with information online, with so much access to information with through the internet, through Twitter, through all these news medias, through search engines, there's a lot of information out there, and it makes it challenging to figure out what is real, what is fake. Even if someone says, oh, this is scientifically proven. Well, who paid for that research? Right?
Yes.
So when the new American Food Guide comes out and tells you that Fruit Loops are healthier for you than hard-boiled eggs, right? You got to ask yourself, who's paying for that research?
Give him a standing ovation, guys. This is great.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll close my eyes. I'll close my ears. I'll pretend like it's happening. Okay.
Well, it's not.
So there's misinformation, there's disinformation, and there's fake news. Okay. So the difference between them is misinformation. You might think it's real, right? So you go on the Instagram, the interwebs, and you share photos of Bigfoot, and you're like, wow, they saw Bigfoot. Okay. And you think that that's not a person in a costume. Or how many of you saw that video of like the really weird looking panda in a Chinese zoo, people are like, this is definitely a person in a panda costume, right? So some people might think that that's fake, real, whatever. Yes.
Did you see those aliens that they found in Mexico?
No, but I saw a video where someone's like, oh, the alien's cake. But I don't know. I don't know anything about no aliens, no ETs. Maybe they're real, maybe they're fake. Okay. Some people might share that information because they think it's true. Disinformation is when they're like, oh, I know this is fake. I know this photo of Bigfoot is fake, but I'm gonna get the Bigfoot enthusiasts like in a whirlwind because it's fun to rile them up. Okay. Again, so why might people falsify information? Well, maybe to mislead you, to
make
misguide
money,
you,
maybe?
to make some money,
Well, they might just
right? Make a bit of money, right?
That's
So
how I
like
made my money.
Kellogg's, who I believe owns Fruit Loops, must have dished out some money to have Fruit Loops ranked higher for health than an egg.
That makes zero sense at all. Well, they want more fruit.
Processed sugar, processed wheat, artificial
Every
flavoring.
girl, are you just gonna eat like straight wheat from the field? Or
Right.
Like a cow, just whole.
Yeah, well, cows don't even eat wheat. Cows eat grass, man. They don't like
Well,
wheat.
they can't eat wheat too, or wheat part of wheat. Too.
If a cow can't eat it, it's like
Cows can eat pumpkins though.
Yeah, cows will eat. Actually,
Really?
no, that's pigs.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Chickens.
I don't think cows eat pumpkin. I'm pretty sure they just like eating grass.
Cows don't eat pumpkins.
They eat pumpkin. Cows.
Pigs will eat anything. That's why they're haram.
They eat people
Okay,
too.
that's why Muslim. Yeah, pigs will eat people.
What?
Somebody's
pigs will eat-
watched
I don't
Snatch.
Mhm,
Pigs
I
will
don't
eat people. Pigs will eat anything, right? That's why they're haram for Muslims.
I'm going to go now.
Okay. Political reasons as well. Political reasons. You might tell a lie. You might falsify information, grade 9s who are just chatting casually as I'm trying to do my job here. Something that you grade 9s love doing, just chatting nonstop. What are you yapping about, man? You three, just never shut your mouth. You partake. You absolutely partake. Those 4 and 3, just casually talking.
Not me. I would never.
You partake.
Sawyer.
Political reasons. People tell lie for political reasons all the time, right? Like getting more votes, making people believe a certain thing about a political party, whatever it is, or a particular ideology, a system of belief, right? So maybe they'll use smear campaigns, right? So like the people on the left, what they'll do, like let's say you see something about climate change or whatever, and you say, hey, I'm not so sure. What's the first thing you say to that person? You're a climate denier. You're a climate change denier. You're anti-science, right? You're fascist, right? It's followed by shortly after, right? Okay, so they create these names, these phrasing for political reasons, right? That way they don't have to engage with the ideas. They can simply, let's quiet down.
Left. I was center.
Let's quiet down. Thank you very much.
I'm not left.
Why do I have to ask 3 times?
We have to try.
Do you want to step outside? Then stop disrupting. One of you two, you're moving. What do you don't want to move? Then you're going back there.
Wait, I
Take
don't
your
want
stuff.
to move either.
Go.
I'll put it back in percentage.
He voted you out. Go. Okay. If it's done by country, so like again, we talked about state-funded media. Maybe they're doing that to manipulate people. Again, that article we looked at that was trashing conservatives for hypothetically, potentially doing something wrong. There's a desk all the way at the back. Did they talk to any of the people on the conservative side?
Nope.
Did they provide any legitimate evidence or
No.
proof? No, they just said, hey, they did something bad. You should be upset.
Why am I?
Okay? So you should either ridicule them or get angry. right? If you're ridiculing them, laughing at them, you're not actually engaging with their argument. If you're getting angry, you're being manipulated, you're controlled. You're basically an emotional slave. Okay?
A lot of people with blue hair.
What am I gonna say?
The way you attacked a class of citizens.
Yeah, I did. The
can't say
blue
it.
hair lip.
How they think Go ahead.
Okay? It's very easy to control people through emotional mechanisms, right? You get them angry, you get them sad, you get them feeling hopeless, you get them feeling like the world's gonna end. They're very easy to control, right? So people who think that there's no hope for the future, they're likely going to engage in more nihilistic styles of behavior, right? And what is nihilism? Nihilism is like, sure, do you want to help?
It's pretty much saying that what you do has no value because the sun is gonna blow up and
5 billion years.
in a couple million years.
Yeah.
Couple million.
So nihilism is a belief system that argues that everything you do is irrelevant because you're gonna die one day, or the sun's gonna blow up, or like mom and dad didn't love you, or like you're gonna be pushing daisies at some point. So you shouldn't do anything of value, right? Now, if you think that in 20 years climate change is going to end the planet, well, why should you engage in anything meaningful, right? So again, controlling people through emotions rather than logic, rather than using hope to say, hey, how do we make the future better? That also provides people freedom and choices.